Hey everyone! If you're a homeowner here in Greenville, you know there are few things more stressful than finding water where it's not supposed to be. Today, we are going to get into a super important topic: what your homeowner's insurance actually covers when it comes to water damage. Let's get you some answers.
So imagine this. You walk into your kitchen, maybe you head down into your crawl space, and boom, there it is, water. That sinking feeling just hits you right in the gut. It's a moment of pure panic for pretty much any property owner.
And right after that initial shock, this is the question that pops into your head, right? It is the big question, and honestly, the answer can be pretty tricky. So this explainer, well, it's designed to break it all down for you, nice and simple.
Okay, so let's get right into the heart of it. To really understand your coverage, you have to get your head around one single core concept that every insurance provider uses. It's called the sudden and accidental rule. So what does that actually mean in plain English? Well, think of it this way. Insurance is designed for emergencies, the stuff you just could not see coming. It's for sudden disasters, not for slow deterioration. It's a safety net for the unexpected, not a warranty for problems that have been brewing over time. All right, that definition is a good start, but let's make it really concrete with some clear, real-world examples. Seeing these side by side is where it all starts to click. Okay, look at the difference here. On one side, you've got a pipe that suddenly bursts and floods your basement. That is the definition of sudden and accidental, and it's very likely covered. But on the other side, a slow, seeping leak from a pipe fitting that's been dripping for, say, 6 months, that's usually seen as a maintenance issue, which means it's probably not covered. Same thing with a dishwasher that just suddenly gives out versus one that's had a slow drip you haven't gotten around to fixing. See the pattern?
And this is the key takeaway, right here. Your insurance adjuster isn't just looking at the puddle on the floor. They are playing detective. They're investigating the source, the how and the why the water is there. That is everything when it comes to deciding if your claim gets approved.
Now let's add another little wrinkle to this whole thing, our local Greenville environment. Because believe it or not, living in the Upstate comes with its own unique conditions that can actually make these water damage claims even more complicated.
You know our famous humidity, right? Well, it makes everything dry out so much slower, which can turn a small problem into a huge one fast. And so many of our homes have crawl spaces that can hide moisture for weeks or months, making it really tough to prove an event was sudden. And those heavy spring rains we get, they are experts at exposing a long-term roof issue that you didn't even know you had. All these things can really blur that line between a sudden disaster and a long-term problem.
And because of all those local factors, how quickly you act becomes absolutely critical. And I mean this is true regardless of what you think your insurance company is going to say in the end.
And listen, this isn't just some good advice. This is literally the industry standard. The IICRC, that's the main certification body for restoration, they make it crystal clear. You have to act fast. If you delay, you're just allowing that water to spread and the damage to get so much worse. So why the huge rush? What's the big deal? It's all about preventing what's called secondary damage. You see, the initial water is one problem, but what comes next? Yep, I'm talking about mold, is a whole different beast. And as the CDC will tell you, the only way to control mold is to control moisture.
Okay, you really need to pay attention to this next part. It is so important, and it's where a lot of homeowners get confused. When you have water damage, you're going to be dealing with two completely different groups: the restoration company and your insurance provider. Just look at how different their jobs are. The restoration company, think of them as the first responders for your house. Their whole job is to get in there, stop the bleeding, get the water out, and dry everything to prevent more damage. Your insurance provider, on the other hand, is the first responder for your finances. They're the ones who look at your policy, figure out the cause, and make the final call on what gets paid for.
So if you remember one thing, remember this. The team that is drying out your house does not and cannot tell you if your claim will be covered. Their job is to fix the physical problem. The decision about money and coverage, that rests 100% with your insurance company, based on the fine print in your policy.
Okay, so with all of that in mind, what do you actually do in that moment of panic? Well, having a clear plan can make all the difference in the world.
Let's just walk through this nice and easy. First, if it's safe to do so, stop the water. Shut off the main valve to your house if you have to. Second, pull out your phone and take pictures and videos of everything. Documentation is your absolute best friend. Third, call a professional mitigation company to get the drying process started right away. And fourth, once you've started to get the physical damage under control, then you notify your insurance company to get the claim started.
And really, this is the bottom line. Do not wait around for an okay from your insurance company to start drying things out. As a homeowner, it is your responsibility to mitigate the damage as quickly and as safely as you can. It's the best thing for your house, and it's the best thing for any potential insurance claim.
So, we've gone over the general rules of the game, but every single insurance policy is a little different. And the best time to figure out what your coverage is long before you actually need it. So, the question I'm going to leave you with is this. Have you actually read your policy? Because knowing what it says right now is your very first and your very best line of defense.